All right, so we are here with a deck profile, and I'm just throwing this out here. Probably gonna make an official upload, but maybe a better up later in the week. But wanted to throw this out there in case I do forget. So yesterday I came in fifth place at my locals. Well, shouldn't say locals, store regional, but it was like my locals. It feels good to get out of my hometown, so I was very excited. Was on the wait list. Then I got in the night before, so I was very happy, and I came in fifth. And it was top four invite pass, and I got a pass down because one person had their invite already. So officially, I am in have my invite to nationals. So with that said, we were playing Raw Knights. We'll go over the breakdown in a bit, but I will show you the cards in no particular order. I'll try to make this a little quicker because Raw Knights have existed for a while. I'll just go over some of like the key players, I guess, and like the really cool combos you I guess you could go with. So starting off, we have King Drazo himself. This you'd always going to be playing four of. Basically restricts you from digivolving, but you do get a play cost reduction for all your Roaring Knights. Four for the first one, and then one for every source. And then the start of your main phase for every turn, you flip the top egg, which means these ones go under the first Drazel, and then you have all your Digimon with Roaring Knight trait also be like sucked underneath him. So that's kind of what he does. He facilitates you playing Raw Knights that have usually like large costs for cheaper over again. Going into kind of, I guess we're starting with the big bodies. I have this in no particular order, but we have four copies of Omni X. This card, I think you just have to play it. I don't know what else to say. Four copies. This is your bread and butter, your win con. It is so good. It has every keyword practically. It just removes problematic cards on the board, especially if you could raid into them. Give something rush. There's a lot of plays you could do with this card to not just win on its own. So really good card. Three copies of the original Omnimon. Omnimon here is on play. You can bring out basically one of every name from underneath King Drazo. You trash the eggs, and then every card that plays out that same turn will gain rush, even if it didn't come out. So if you like, for example, play a token or you play like a Digimon from your hand or trash, then that Digimon also will gain rush that turn. So very good card. This is essentially these are your win con cards. This is the end game. But you do toolbox a lot of stuff, and sometimes you can win without even using either effect. Sometimes, believe it or not. One Genkumon. I feel like right now there's a lot of cards that gain effects off of playing by effects, and Genkumon it's just there for a little bit of recursion. It's a very high play cost, and you don't want to see too many of them, so I'm only running one. We are running one Gallantmon. This is the promo Gallantmon is on play. Well, first off, if there's a Digimon with 13,000 or more DP, you can cost reduces additionally by 2 for every 5 in either player's trash. So you can combine this with the King Drazel effect to reduce cost. And let's say he's a 12 cost here, and let's say you and your opponent both have 5 cards in the trash. If there's a Digimon with 13 or more DP, then you can cost reduce him by like 2 for every 5, so that would be 10, and then you could use the remaining reduction from here. So really good finisher as well. It also, if it doesn't delete on play, deletes a 13 or more. Never came up essentially on that except for one game that I KO'd like a Mastimon on the opponent's side of the field. But the cool thing also about that was that if it doesn't delete it, then you get to recover 1. Sometimes that's very important. This is, I guess, a deviation from a lot of lists out there is Jesmon. This is the new BT23 Jesmon. I really like it, but I understand that it really is a more of an aggro approach, and I could definitely see this deck be a little bit more aggro in some cases. But the thing is that on play, it doesn't have it on play. It has Rush and Alliance, and when attacking, you can play a Sistermon or a Athoren and Poor token. Either one of those when attacking, and then it has Alliance. So We do run one Sister Mon in this deck, which if we see it, is a really good tech in the deck for certain cases. But I just wanted to try it out. Um, I don't know if I would take it out necessarily, but this is definitely a flex spot. One Alphamon here. Just recover one. I feel like sometimes games go a little late, and if you're at 0 life, this is a really good way, especially if you want to keep turn and maybe you got your Omecamon a little too late into the game. This is a really good card. We're running 2 Dynasmon from BT23. The Dynasmon is really good. This card came up a lot, actually. So I do run 2, and its effect is basically you can trash the top card of your life. If you do, you blanket minus 6k your opponent's board for the turn. If you're at 3 or less, you recover 1. But if not, then you'll gain security +1 regardless. It's a really good card, I think, in my opinion. But that's an all turns effect, just so y'all are aware. But yeah, it is really good because you can combo this with Alphamon Orican Ace, which happened in one of my matches. Blanket minus 6 to the board. Then I brought Alphamon at the same time out with the Omnimon effect. And I gained 3 memory keeping turn and being able to swing for 2 checks because this gets Sec +1. One with Omnimon, one with Alphamon Orican Ace, and then Digivolved into Omnimon X Antibody. So this was an MVP, definitely. 1 Gallantmon, good card. Unfortunately, didn't face any purple decks during my matchups, and this is really like the tech against matches that are purple. You just got to make sure you keep this alive because your opponent will try to play Digimon or this is good like against Lefiamon. It's good against any purple deck really, but really good card here for purple techs. Craniumon never came up. I used to run this set too, but I do definitely see the benefit of running 1. And honestly, in the meta where it's very minus DP focused, this is a very good card in that sense because against Hoodiemon, if they melt this, you cannot activate the effect that would delete it. I think a lot of players are confused about this card, so I got a ruling from a judge. So if your opponent melts this to 0, you're not being deleted by an effect. You're deleting by game mechanics. So even if you suspend it, it'll be removed from the field. But yeah, you can't use that first effect, I believe. We run 2 of the original Jessamon here just because it's a good mid-game card. And it deletes your opponent's like searchers or rookies or anything like that they just choose to leave on the board. Plus, it sets up an Atho Ren token, and the tokens are actually really good. 2 Alphamon Orican Aces, minus 15 your opponent's Digimon, and then either you or your opponent loses security +3 memory. So really good. I would say that like this was out of all these, I would say the tech you probably want to consider is the Craniumon and the Jessamon. Everything else, I think, really is like the core of Raw Knights, give or take, whatever style you want to go with. We are running 4 copies of the new Magnamon. Really good card. Just because, in my opinion, you need to run 4 because it is a starter for your deck. You need a draw, and in certain situations, like even against like an Imperial matchup where they will try to spin your stuff to hand their deck, Megamon sometimes comes in clutch where you can play him out, give protection to like I don't know, like Dynasmon on board, and then he can't be spun, and then their only target is the Magnamon. So you get to get a bigger body to be saved if you're facing a deck that likes to bounce stuff. Yeah, so that's really it for. I would say this is like the Royal Knights part of it. Everything else is tamers, options, etc., etc. So we're gonna just clean this up a little bit over here. Work with me over here, please. Thank you. So I would say this is the Royal Knight stuff again. Each person is different. There is a more of a, I run a yellow version of this deck too, which does really well as in certain cases as well. These are the Next is the non-Royal Knight based cards that I tech into the deck for certain reasons. Um, and yeah, so starting things off, we are running one copy of Gallantmon Crimson Mode. On play, it leads up to 15k on your opponent's side of the board. Then, when attacking, for every 10 in both players' trash, you trash the top card of their security. Came in clutch round one. We actually went to time and overtime, and I didn't have enough. Like I didn't see Omnimon to rush everyone. So I just played it very, very smart. I had this in hand, held it in hand. Asked how, like 30 seconds left on the clock. How many cards in trash? Counted 20. I counted 20 together. I was like, all right, pull out Omnimon, do our checks. Like he has 2 cards left. All right, play Gallantmon, delete your stuff on the board, and then end a turn, swing into security, trashing the top 2 cards of their security. And this gave me a game 3. So really good card here. I guess I'll put this here again. All right. This card, MVP. Uh, this is a interesting card in general, but we're playing 3 copies of Medieval Gallantmon. Suspend 2 of your opponent's Digimon, well, any Digimon actually off board, and then on play. It doesn't have it on play. It's all turns actually. Sorry, all turns. When a Digimon is played, that includes itself. You may suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and then delete it. Just gotta be careful. One thing I'll say about this against Hoodie, when they have some of the Tamers on their board, you can actually choose to not suspend anything and then delete something. So I ran into that problem. I don't think it cost me anything. I think it was the game that I won against Hoodiemon. Spoilers, I faced Hoodiemon. But yeah, I think that this was definitely at least 2 of. Third one, I felt like this was good because every time they got rid of it, I was like, all right, suspend 2 more, play it out. And a lot of people are playing by effects in this format, so they have to deal with this card, and I think you have to do that for Roaring Knights. So yeah, 3 copies of Medieval, 2 copies of the new King Drazo 76 Digimon card. This is really good starter. You basically activate the effect from hand. You slip it under the egg King Drazo, and then you draw 1, so it replaces itself. And then the other effects are pretty good too. The inherited effect is really good. Basically, if you're just like off by 1 Digimon, and you can keep your turn potentially, and you go pull this out if you have 6 or more total sources underneath King Drazel, and then you can play a Royal Knight CS trait, and it gives it rush, raid, blocker, and reboot. So it's a really good card. You have to suspend it, of course, to do that, but 2 of these is good. I was running more, but I just feel like 2 is the right number for now. It may go up or down based on like what the format looks like. Another tech, System 1 Seal. Good for removing floodgates, really, if you're able to keep turn, or just in general. But the other thing I like this is that you could suspend it using either Medieval Gallant or the Jessamon, and then you get de-digivolve. So, like, if you have this out, maybe they didn't think it was a problem, or like, hey, you know, they're going to de-digivolve something, whatever, I could deal with it later. You just, like, suspend this plus 1 of their Digimon, and then Medieval is going to be like, okay, well, if your guy's really big, I'm going to de-digivolve it, maybe get rid of protection or whatever. But I thought it was a really good card. I can see why a lot of people don't run it, just because of the cost is really high. But with Jessamon also, by the way, just really good card. So yeah. We were on 1 of the old Omekamon. I'm going to probably bump this up to 2, just because. So for some reason, I always see the Cool Boy and not Omekamons in hand, and then vice versa. We all know kind of what this does. It's just a draw 1 and then place a Royal Knight from your hand underneath. Just gotta be cautious that you don't put in like the Omnimon that you're gonna be playing. If that's the only card in hand, you may want to consider not playing this out via effect. I've got 4 copies of the Omekamon from BT20. I'm not going to go over what this card does. We all know what it does. Just, you know, basically, if you lose a security, you can pop this out. If it's 1 or less life that you're having, you can digivolve this on your opponent's turn, because remember, you can't digivolve on your turn, into an Omnimon X antibody in hand. And then you can, you know, deal with effects, and then it's considered a X antibody. So while it's a source. So that's just something to be aware of. But really good there. And that's like, I guess you could say that's like the Digimon techs or non-Digimon, non-Raw Knight cards. Um, think that this was actually out generally just how I like it, like pretty perfect for that. This is, I guess, where we go text. Shout out to V Passion because I watched his deck profile and I wanted just the reasoning of like, like why three Crimson Blazes, and I do think that Crimson Blaze is very much needed in this format. It saved me many times when I knew I was going to lose. And then it's like first card out of security, second card out of security, or last card out of security. And just like, okay, you can't play by effects. That kind of stops your turn. Again, versus Jessamon, which is a meta deck, versus Hoodie, that's a royal meta deck. Royal Knights, a meta deck. All that stuff. Like, this card just bonkers. One thing I would probably put in this deck is maybe a source to use it if I don't have a red Digimon. There were times I didn't, and I wish I did. but yeah, three of these. This is the one card I would say maybe I would consider cutting. I don't know. It's security effect. I don't have any 3 cost or less Digimon in my deck, so when this gets in security, it's a security effect. We'll just say add to hand instead of playing a level 3 from hand or trash. The other card effect is really good for a search opportunity, especially early game. So if you do see an opening hand, you play it out, and it's just like, okay, I don't have a cool boy, but when I draw it, I can just trash it to be able to play cool boy, and that's really good. But honestly, I may just run another Omekamon in its place, so I'm not sure yet. 1 Purge, because that's all we could run. 4 of the Last Guardian. I don't think there's really any explanation for these. It's just gotta play it. So that's like the options, and then in terms of the tamers, we're running 4 Cool Boy. Just good consistency piece. Cheapens the amount that you need for Roaring Knights to get its win con out of. So that's that. And then this was definitely an MVP. I'm really glad this was like last minute addition. Was the 2 Hakuros. So this has multiple purposes. One, start your turn. If your opponent has 3 or more tamers, which right now there are a lot of decks like Mastamon and Hoodiemon that do play lots of tamers out. Even mirror matches, are a good reasoning for it. But if you have 3 or more, you get to start your turn with an extra memory, which is really good when your opponent's not expecting, like, oh no, I set my board up now and I don't have any more tamers. And in the Hoodie matchup, this is really good. The other effect is when your opponent plays a Digimon, if it's a level 3, you draw 1. If it's a level 4 higher, you get to gain a memory if you tap this. So it was when your opponent's like ready to like just finish you off, and they're like, okay, well, I do need to play a level 4 for this to work, or I'll play a level 3, and I'm like, all right, I'll play your level 3. Like, Digivolve, pass turn to me. Like, all good, man. That this card just it's interesting. It's kind of like a math equation. It's like, I know how to do like 6 plus 6, and then you're like, oh wait, this is 6-7. I know that's a dumb joke, but yeah, that is the deck profile. I think this deck was really good. My matchups. Round 1 was against a Mastamon. That was the one where Gallantmon, Omnimon combo really worked to my advantage. Round 2 was against Jessamon. Round 3, Jessamon. I felt like Jessamon was never truly a threat. It was very close to killing me, but once I get rid of one of their stacks, I'm just able to like go from there. But there was a game against one of my opponents where first hit was Crimson Blaze. He had set up 3 other Digimon on board, and like it literally killed them in like during that time. So outside of that, I mean, Royal Knights. Let's see. All right, so round 1 was Mastate. Round 2 was Jessamon. Round 3 was a loss. I lost to Aggro Machine Dramon, just really good player who, so I talked to him after, and he was like, I've been cooking on this deck for like 6 months, and I understand the feeling. And I absolutely think that he deserved the win. He 2-0'd me like so quick. I didn't have an answer to really like deal with his board. And And then round 4 was against Three Great Angels. It can Three Great Angels can be scary. I do think that, unfortunately, I don't think they have enough support, or their combos need to be like just a little bit more consistent. But I do think that it is scary when they pop off. There was a board that my opponent made that was like a uh, Dominimon into another Dominimon with a Mastamon on board, with an Angelwoman Ace on board. So with that all set up, he has inherited barriers. He has um, uh, when a card leaves security, you could put one of your opponent's Digimon to security. It was like insane. And the only way to really out it is by minus DP or Digivolve. And luckily, I do run, like I mentioned, a couple of different cards to deal with that. And I won with the skin of my teeth. It was very close, I will say that. Round 4 was against Jessmon. Round 5 was... Oh, no, that was round 4 was Angels. Round 5 was Jessmon. 2-0 the Jessmon player. And then round 6 was against Hoodie. Game 1, he actually decked himself out trying to beat me and just couldn't. And then round 2, we went into time. He won in time, so he went. We went into turns. He won in time, and unfortunately, it passed. You know, we had to do a tie, and got pushed me down to 5th place. But like I said, got you guys invite, moved it down to me, and may go to Vegas if I can afford it. Which I don't think I've ever been to Vegas, so that will be an experience. But yeah, I am excited. I'm probably gonna put a little bit better. I could see like my camera's really funky today, so I might try something else to try to get this out. But I want you guys to see the deck profile because I'm gonna be resting for a while for the Raw Nights, just because, man, Raw Nights. One of my favorite decks. Every format I've been working on it, and I'm glad I ended up getting my invite now, and hopefully I'll be able to go. I didn't go to Texas, but I'm hoping to go again. All right, enjoy. Happy holidays, etc. Trying to find my mouse to end the video.